PBS is on the brink of destruction. I'll definitely miss those days from when I was a young kid. On November 3rd, 1969, the president of WGBH, Hartford N. Gunn Jr., along with John Macy, president of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, James Day of National Education Television, and Kenneth A. Christensen, chairman of the Department of Broadcasting at the University of Florida, worked together to establish a network unlike any other.
This is PBS.
I think many of us remember one of the biggest channels in TV history. Ever since our childhoods, it was one day where you were sitting in your room playing with your toys or something similar, and then the TV would come on, and instantly you'd be greeted by many friends across the landscape. That channel was none other than PBS. For over 50 years, PBS has always been there as the main source of children's television. We got shows like Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Reading Rainbow, and countless others. It was a place for everyone to enjoy, young and old. And while it has changed over the years, I can't deny that PBS was a huge part of my life, as I've talked about in previous videos. So, I've decided to honor PBS by honoring one of my favorite shows of all time. And for that, we need to go back in time to the 1980s. The 80s were quite a time for the entertainment world, from MTV giving us timeless hits from mega superstars such as Michael Jackson and Madonna, to American slasher movies becoming popular with the likes of Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Not to mention the video game industry had a crash, but would return thanks to a plumber in red. Star Wars was a massive craze since the premiere of what we now know as A New Hope. Yes, I know that movie was released in 1977, but two of its movies premiered in the 80s, so it counts. And for children's entertainment, it was definitely different. While Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers didn't do anything violent compared to the likes of Secret of NIMH or Watership Down, it was still a different time for children's TV in general. Sesame Street even made their own feature film in 1985 that had a pretty serious and realistic tone for the most part. But meanwhile, in the UK, a woman named Britt Allcroft was bringing to life a character only seen in storybooks that were written by an English clergyman since 1945, and would become the staple of many people's childhoods for years to come. That character was none other than Thomas the Tank Engine. Released in 1984, nearly 40 years since the Railway series was first published, Thomas immediately became a household name in the UK. Season 1 was a big success, with Season 2 that followed it 2 years later even more so. After 1986, the show went on a bit of a hiatus for a couple years, but with those first 2 seasons, it led to people outside the UK gaining interest. One of them being a man from New York City's PBS station WNET by the name of Rick Sigelkow. After being shown a tape that featured the Thomas Down the Mine pilot, Rick met with Britt Allcroft with plans to bring Thomas over to America. But because TV slots were different in America compared to the UK, putting only 5-minute episodes at a time, or the original 10-minute airings with 2 stories apiece with the nameboard intermission sandwiched in between, didn't seem so feasible here. So they decided to make a brand new show and use Thomas as a segment. Kinda like a show within a show, if you will. And what we got out of that was...
Reach for the speed, reach for the whistle, go where the rail may run. Reach for the words, reach for the story, follow the rainbow sun. To a shining time station, where dreams can come true, waiting there for you.
Beginning on January 29, 1989, Shining Time Station was more remembered nowadays as that weird variety show that featured Thomas in it, but back then, it was a big hit in America, especially when the Thomas stories would come on. While it is often forgotten and is often one of the main problems for Thomas and the Magic Railroad making the movie too Americanized, I still consider the show one of my childhood favorites, and not just for Thomas either. So for this series, I'll be talking about every single episode of Shining Time Station that was made. All 65 episodes, 5 specials, and all 3 spin-off shows. Magic Railroad will only get a mention as there's more than enough content and people talking about the movie out already. It'll be kinda similar to how James Rolfe does Monster Madness on Cinemassacre, and how Doug Walker does Disneycember. But instead of being daily, they'll be up for review based on my schedule, so we'll see what comes out. So get your tickets ready and let's go on that magic train to the Indian Valley Railroad. This is my return to Shining Time Station.
To a shining time station where dreams can come true, waiting there for you. So much to see, so far to travel, so much to learn to know.